didn't need to do that. So, oh, is this? So he has shown back up, but now it's time to sell us his app. So let's see what he has to say.
To sign up for the buyer app already, that you guys have like literally melted our server down. So we're rebooting it right now. Don't worry, it's still working great. We're having a great time over here. Keep them coming. We're stoked that the app is finally ready. We're very proud of it. Download the buyer app right now on the Google Play Store, on the Apple App Store. If the account creates...
Okay, so 9 hours ago, the previous thing he has is from November 16th. So on November 16th, same guy? Who knows? November 10th, he marked himself in a relationship. That's fucking weird. And if you look like, so November 10th, he's in a relationship. Then there's 6 days. But November 9th, he posts. November 8th, he posts. November 7th, he posts. And then I guess jumps back to October 14th. So I guess he doesn't post as much as I thought he did. Maybe. I don't know. I think it's weird. You know, I think he is. So what's interesting is that there are other people who call him a Fed and whatnot, and it seems to be going around that we are calling each other Feds. But okay, so here we go. Cancel this says we built a new tool just to go through the Epstein emails. Yeah, that's an old video though. My bad, because I swear I didn't see it. We have the proud pedophile on here, acknowledge here, and that they are a pedophile.
Do you believe that Charlie Kirk, that's one of the concerns? Neck at a 90-degree angle, and then continued at full velocity and shattered a bunch of neck vertebrae below it, and then possibly went down into his heart and stopped his heart? Do you think that they just paved over the crime scene 2 days later on a Sunday? Just by happenstance? You think that Charlie Kirk literally tweeting to his Jewish and Zionist donors that he needs to leave the pro-Israel cause is not relevant? And that him texting to his friends the day before this happened, that he was afraid they were going to kill him, is not relevant? Bibi Netanyahu offering him an enormous sum of money that he turned down is not relevant? Like, you're supposed to be our guy, bro. This is your moment. You're on Steven Crowder disavowing the people that are actually out here taking on Israel, taking on the deep state, taking on the whole thing. And you're...
Well, go figure. I mean,
like Turning Point that exists anywhere else, that has the resources and the reach.
Well, that's interesting.
And there is no organization like Turning Point that exists anywhere else that has the resources and the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can.
Tim, let's put this real simple in plain English. Candace Owens is what you would call a journalist. And you might, come up with your meaning words to call it. Candace Owens is reporting on stories as a journalist in search of the truth.
Except for Christianity. She's full-fledged Christian for no reason whatsoever.
And in particular, like a good journalist, she is in pursuit of holding the powerful to account. What you are doing for a living is what we might call being an influencer, being a talking head, an entertainer. And you're this. Like, I can look at it and make sense of it, obviously. It's not impossible at all.
We'll try again. Sure is interesting.
Which your boy is working on here, mapping the flights. But
I couldn't
can't
care
make sense of
less.
this. We've got all kinds of stuff on the flights, kind of honing
Egypt,
in on
France,
exactly what's
Candace
going on with these
assassination
flights, which
plot.
flights. Could I please get a
Mexico
professional
is
flight tracker
rebelling
to clip
against
this and fucking tell me what
Claudia
is wrong here?
Scheinbaum.
You guys know what's going on in Mexico? Mexico is in open rebellion against their president.
That's strange. We're not hearing anything about that.
And there's a lot of backstory that we're not going to get all into, but
Wait a minute.
Much evidence out there that even if less than 1% is true.
Yeah, I don't care about your fucking logo and your starting intro bullshit.
and it's not all because she's Jewish, but it's not because she's Jewish and sold out their country. And there's a lot of backstory that we're not going to get all into, but if you know a little bit about the history of Mexican politics, you would know about AMLO, their past president, that started this new like political party and movement. This is outside of their Capitol building. Their what's it called? It's got a weird name, like their palace, their royal palace or some shit.
That
Which sounds weird.
not gonna bother to ask who built.
But AMLO started this new policy against the cartels called Hugs Not Bullets. And
Shut
his
the fuck
idea
up.
was when we try to crack down on the cartels, so many people get hurt and all this violence, really uncomfortable. And that'll really solve the problem. And so
What solves the problem is
AMLO
eliminating their business.
made a lot of friends.
Eliminating their
with
business is
bankers
making drugs
and other
legal.
business people, and you know, I'm not expert enough to have an opinion on how well he ran the country, but he certainly didn't crack down on the cartels. I can tell you that much. And Claudia Scheinbaum, their new president, she entered into his party, rose up through the ranks, and became
Scheinbaum.
his successor. There was all these conspiracies about Claudia Scheinbaum when she was elected. Claudia Scheinbaum, if you need a visual, I'm sure you remember her face, right? This is Claudia Scheinbaum. There were all these conspiracy theories.
I mean, just ask yourself, just simply, does it make sense that overtly Catholic, some weird, stupid Mexico would have a Jewish president? Like, does that even make sense?
About how many candidates were killed in the Mexican elections when she was elected. And I looked
Right?
they were assassinated. None of them were a part of the presidential election. They were across all elections in all states and counties and municipalities all across Mexico.
Yeah, that
And
couldn't
it was a
possibly
very
be connected
typical
then.
number because Mexico is run by cartels and people get shot all the fucking time. And so actually it was
So many of these guys are all about either boldly or covertly creating, the Mexican bad guy narrative. I mean, watching Cooper make videos about the savage Native Americans were pulling the still beating hearts out of the poor white missionary who was just trying to spread the word of God. Like it's just. Like if you still believe in Jesus, if you're not questioning the Tartaria aspect of things, if you still think we live on a round ball flying through space, and if you're still involved in all of that stuff, then how do I know what you're talking about is true? Obviously, you stop your truth detector. You stop looking for truth at points that you want to, where it makes you comfortable or uncomfortable. So to think that you're telling the truth It's just foolish on my end.
You guys know what's going on in Mexico?
What the fuck? Why did that reset?
Mexico don't give two shits
Don't
about
give two
she was
shits.
elected. And I looked into those conspiracy theories, and people get shot all the fucking time. And so actually it was like a real number that then got misconstrued online and then got run as propaganda for, organic or inorganic reasons. So don't get fooled by the fake shit, because you don't need all the fake shit to just get into her stance on the cartels and her relationships with the bankers and what she's actually doing for Mexico. And Mexico is fucking done with it. And Mexico don't give two shits about being politically correct. And they are rowdy. This is a police wall with shields and barricades, and they're all like lining up and getting wicked with it. They spray painted this on the presidential doors.
Puta Judea.
Which, if you don't speak Spanish,
Funny.
you can translate it for yourself. Actually, in this case, puta probably has a slightly more like prostitutorial sort of an implication in this case. Is probably how it would be used here. But yeah, all these words work, together. Because there's some crazy footage from these barriers of them like tearing it down and then like totally brawling with these police officers. It's like pretty gnarly. I'm not going to show this one. They like grab these cops and are throwing them down and beating them with like freaking bolt cutters and stuff. It's wild. Mexicans do not F around. And it's going on live right now. So, yeah.
I don't understand why I couldn't find
Government
these
putada
videos over the
for
past
sure.
couple days. I went and looked, and there wasn't
That's happening
anything
in Mexico
posted.
right now, and it's spicy. And I thought you should know, because there's so much going on. It'd be easy to miss, right? Why are they angry? Because she sold their country. So I would have to do more in Claudia's presidency, because I haven't actually paid back attention to her presidency in specific since she was elected. I did a fair bit of digging into her candidacy and into AMLO and into the history of Mexican politics when she was getting elected, to dig into the allegations that they'd murdered a bunch of people when she got elected. And so I got a bit of a background on AMLO and the cartel relationship with the presidency down.
The information that you've researched is what they want you to know. Like that's the screwed up part. So until you're questioning all of the information, you're still pushing narratives.
There, and Carlos Slim into banking interests in
And
Mexico.
you can talk all the shit you want, but tell me the narrative that I push. Tell me the agenda that I have. Tell me who benefits from my way of thinking.
Mexico, but I have to do more looking into Claudia and what she's been doing, the particular grievances of the Mexican people today, before I could tell you with any authority at all. But to be fair, one direction that the investigation is bound to go is that she is the first ever Jewish president in the country of Mexico, and Mexico is a Roman Catholic country. There's like 0.2% or something of the population that are Jewish. So
It's only 2% here.
It's just like a little.
It's just as weird here. You just don't.
And you can't help but wonder, because I noticed that as Trump came into his second term, to the north of us, they got rid of Justin Trudeau because he had expired his usefulness, and they put in Mark Carney, who has a very, very strong resume as a world banker, as a banking globalist, deep state motherfucker. And he is very qualified and from a very interesting pedigree, and he is clearly an asset of the cabal, we'll say. And then to our south, Mexico elects for the first time ever a Jewish female president that's, let's just say,
Who
seems
voted
to
for her?
allegedly be kind of aligned with the cartels and with the banking interests and with the more globalist kind of thing, whatever that might be. And so when the northern and southern border of the United States were getting sandwiched in by relatively shady leadership, that looks like a setup, and that looks very suspicious. So I'm going to look into that more.
You seem to think
Fortunately,
that Trump is a
Mexicans
good guy.
don't take no shit. Mexicans are
Okay,
hard.
so that
What is
was
wrong
the
here?
25th of November.
Motherfuckers
Like
down
we
there.
get
need a lot
back
of smart
like
people getting in the room and talking about it, and not just the smart people that are super rich. We need a lot of smart people getting in the room and talking about it, and not just the smart people that are super rich that like to fly to islands and diddle kids. That's like my main concern. Is we need good people in that room. We need moral people in that room. We need good.
there you go. Thank you. It's right there. So you know, I'm gonna keep asking this question to all of these Christians out here. Because I so badly want to I want to believe in Ian Carroll. I want to believe he's a good guy. Even there's a guy on Facebook. I think his page is called like The Real News or something like that. And he always says, wouldn't it be crazy if, and then he gives a bunch of facts. Like he's a great channel, right? And he pointed out that Ian Carroll called Nick Fuentes a Fed. And that I mean, I told you, don't you think it's strange that in the last, 2 months, with everything that is going on, and in an environment where you would think I should be like, yay, check out all these guys, check out the Ian Carrolls, check out the Nick Fuenteses, the Dan Blazarians, the Stu Peters, these guys are all saying the right things, and, that's how I should be. That's how I feel like I should be. That's how it's almost set up to facilitate me being. There's so many of this one character out there. And yet every single one of them is a Christian. And I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I've been trying to get people to, at least engage in the conversation for such a long time. And I just can't. You still don't know who the fuck Ian Carroll is. Well, guess what? You're literally talking to me on the greatest research tool that we have ever been given. It's extremely easy to figure out who that person is with just the slightest bit of effort. So the fact that in all this time you still haven't figured it out really does sort of say something about you. Hope you're doing good, man. I've been fine. Shit's just hectic. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Aren't we all feds at the end of the day? A lot of you are, I'm sure. 30 days sober. Fuck yeah. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. You are, that's really great. Really great. Everybody give some love for E-Block. Oh, then he goes and fucks it up. and says, Jesus Christ is my savior. I take it back. I'm just saying that here means maybe he's not that big or important. Yeah, that's what it must mean because you haven't heard of him. I'm sure if you were to look him up, you'd realize you've heard of him, you've seen his work. I know this guy thinks he's above faith. I'm not talking religion though. Yeah, well, because you can't. If you were as proud of like your sobriety, your religion as you are of your sobriety, you came in here bragging about your sobriety, and then you want to push your bullshit Jesus Christ is my savior nonsense. But as soon as somebody's like, well, hey, why don't you elaborate on that? You're like, no, I don't want to. Interesting how that works. Right? Why if you believe in something, why if your thing is truth, why are you afraid to talk about it? You should be proud to talk about it. Strange how that always seems to work. Oh, I hope you have a good, there you go. Christian cowardice. When asked to elaborate on their own belief structure, on why they felt the need to come in here and brag about their shit. Nobody asked you about it. You're the one that brought the spotlight on yourself when asked to elaborate and be a proud, do your job actually, because you're actually charged with not getting in groups of people who believe the same thing and singing goofy songs. You're supposed to find people like me and bring us into the fold. But you can't, right? You just can't. Thanks. I'm on my way to methadone, though I am closing down currently on 30 small. That's great. How come Jesus doesn't help you? How come God doesn't just take that shit away from you and just be like, you don't need methadone either. Boom, you're good. How come Jesus literally sat there and watched you get all fucked up for such a long time? Probably watched you almost die or die a couple times. Man, I don't know if you OD'd. Yeah, here comes the typical friar to say the typical friar things. You can't argue with psychosis. The guy who doesn't believe in Sky Daddy is the crazy guy. Had you seen a big puts his arm in the way of the needle. I attribute my sobriety to my faith, Jesus, and ketamine therapy. Sounds like your sobriety is chemically, is not sober. You take enough drugs that would fuck up normal people severely. You just had such a heavy habit that you can take these high amounts of drugs. 30 milligrams of methadone would fuck up a normal person. But you attribute your sobriety to Jesus. Why? What's the difference? Are you saying that this is the only time that you've tried to quit and been like, all right, God, I'm putting it in your hands? Because I know you're lying. I know there's been many times in the past that you've prayed that God help you this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and it didn't work. The only person responsible for your sobriety is you. And it's so crazy that you're going to sit here and argue with me that you're not the reason why you're doing this. Hang on a second. That's always just hilarious to me. Sad too. I had a profound experience. Sure you did. What the fuck does that mean? Please elaborate. Why is it always like pulling teeth trying to get these guys to talk about their miracle? Their profound experience. And it's like, come on, tell us. Religion is different from faith. Religion is organized BS. Oh, so now we've got even you're even arrogant about it. Because the people that provide you with the belief structure, they don't get it right. You know the right way to believe about it because of what? Who cares? He touched me the other day in a real way. It was amazing. I cried so crazy tears of joy. So you're saying Jesus or God touched you? Which one was it? I was just driving and Jesus smacked me with his presence in a respectful way. So, while children being starved to death and bombs are being dropped on them and they're being taken hostage and horrible things are being done to them by God's chosen people, Jesus is busy smacking you in the face, huh? Do you understand how incredibly arrogant that is? What's up, open-minded? Catholic Church has been corrupted for a while. Oh, there was a time when it wasn't? When was it not? When did the corruption happen? Yeah. You know, the whole, we don't want normal people who like women. We want people who are supposedly able to override their biological urges so they can live in a weird-ass, extremely sort of gay scenario, wear dresses all day, and have access to children, where consistently they take advantage of it. Like, it's just insane. I'm just wasting my time on a cab ride. Oh, so are you not going to answer the question then? You just going to avoid this part? Because you guys always do. Christians always avoid this part. This arrogant, unbelievably arrogant notion that Jesus was worried about you doing drugs. You're making a choice. You're doing it to yourself. You're really not even harming anybody but yourself. And instead of Jesus appearing to Netanyahu, Bezalel Smotrich, Itmar Ben-Gvir, and saying, hey, it's time to stop this and unify. You have the wrong message, blah, blah, blah. He's busy worried about your junky ass, right? That makes sense? That's how that works? You think that's okay, huh? Now, see, now you're just going to say dumb shit like Jesus is the truth. See what I mean? You try to have a real intelligent conversation with these Christians and they just can't do it. Like, it's just so fucking insane. Now you're talking about weed. Look at how desperate this guy is to not talk about what's being talked about. What about the cab driver? Is the cab driver a Muslim? Does the cab driver, does he believe in a completely different sky daddy than you do? Did Muhammad smack him in the face one day? It's so crazy to me how arrogant these people are. And then when you try to get them to elaborate on it, they clam up. The only reason I'm even in this conversation is because of what you had to say. And now, when asked to elaborate, you just shut up. Drugs have their place in society. I just can't do fentanyl or heroin. That's my issue, and I'm addressing it, not wasting time. I'm clean, brother. You're not addressing it. You're taking another substance, synthetic heroin, and ketamine, while believing it's all sky daddy, sky uncle, or underground mean uncle. Doesn't sound like you're taking responsibility for any of it. Doesn't sound like you're digging into the parental bullshit, the societal bullshit, that you either were victimized by, programmed by, whatever, that created this narrative that you have today. No, it's Sky Daddy bullshit, right? Morning, Bubber. What's happening? You don't know? I can't believe there's no school today over this nothing snow. You guys need to get out there, though. Yeah, I know. You got stuff to do. Cat litter, right away. Oh. Look at how silly this is. Look at how crazy this is. Now instead of talking to the person that's actually doing the feed, now you're talking to other commenters because, again, you don't want to face the reality of what's going on here. You know? I mean, I just can't imagine, like, the guy that I did all of my heroin and fentanyl with, who sat there and watched and hung out with me and all that shit and basically facilitated it all, right? According to your beliefs, God made the fucking drug dealers get up that day. You know, God did all that. Now that you have supposedly changed your mind, somehow God's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Like, in no form of recovery do they say continue hanging out with the people that you hung out with while you were getting high. In the way that you believe things to work, God was there with you the entire time you were getting high. And yet, you're hanging out with him still. I have a prescription for Xanax. Jesus. Now it's Xanax, ketamine, and methadone. I wouldn't ever call myself sober if that was the case. I would say maybe I'm off the gas, but you're definitely not sober when that's the case. And off the gas is a good thing. Absolutely. I'm not knocking that even slightly. You should be proud of yourself for what you have accomplished. Absolutely no credit goes to Jesus. We are talking MK Ultra. Why do you think you believe in such insanity? Why do you think you believe in such ridiculous nonsense that takes the credit away from you and puts it on Magical Sky Daddy, who doesn't even think you Christians are its favorite chosen people? A completely different religion. The people that supposedly killed the superhero, killed the Jesus, the God's only begotten child, those people that killed him are also your Christian God's chosen people. Completely different religion. You know, they believe horrible things about your Jesus and Mary and boiling in a cauldron of semen for all of eternity in hell, and just the dumbest, craziest shit. But your Bible is a Jewish fairy tale. Every character in that book is Jewish. Every main character is Jewish. And all of the narratives are just silly ass fairy tales. And the reality is, like, this is the reality. You have absolutely no evidence to back up why you believe what you believe. There is endless evidence against what you believe, but the lack of evidence that you have is evidence against in itself. The fact that you can't provide evidence shows you that it's not real. Look at this. Look at how this goofy shit is. I swear, I'll prove it. I'm far from fed. Yeah, it's funny how you won't answer simple questions. Why wouldn't you be Mossad? You know? I'm not listening to him because my taxi driver's on the phone. I'm just trying to stimulate my guy that needs to see the light, everyone. Oh, what an easy little cop-out he has there now. So now he's suddenly not able to hear what's being said. Oh, so I guess that explains why you can't answer the simplest questions, huh? What a fucking cop-out. It's so insane. And I appreciate you being here and doing it because, you know, I can talk about it all day. But when there's, you know, the visual, the example is here, it makes the argument so much stronger. You try to talk crap, but it is interesting. It says, you try to talk crap, but it is interesting, says a lot about you. What? Oh my God. You are not my enemy. Yeah, you are. Unfortunately, because you're too stupid not to be. You're too arrogant not to be. You are still pushing their insanity control scheme. And unfortunately, that makes you an enemy. Now, you don't have to be that way. Yo. No. Why would you? That's true. Go ahead. Again, you just saying words. I love when people say, I'm not one to judge. Literally, everybody sits in judgment all day long. If you didn't judge things, you wouldn't survive. Walking down the street, you notice that the street light is out up there. And standing underneath where that street light is out, there's 4 guys. Whatever scary color is scariest to you, black, white, Chinese, whatever you're scared of the most. And they're sitting there looking at you, sizing you up. One of them reaches behind something and grabs something. Are you going to judge that situation? And maybe even be wrong. Maybe they're nice guys and you're just misinterpreting it. Or are you going to be like, nah, I don't want to judge anything, and get your ass fucked up? Nah, you pass judgment because that's how you exist in this world. You see a shady character and you judge them. And it's okay for you to judge them. If you're wrong, that's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay for someone to be wrong about you. They have no reason to trust you or believe in you. It's up to you to show them that you're trustworthy. Look at this shit. Look at how it's just, there's no like reality, right? Like, look at how, like, why if Christians have the truth, right? Why are they so inept? Why are they so incapable of having any sort of intelligent discourse, like, whatsoever? If they're so good at this, if what they believe in is truth, then what is it? This shouldn't be so difficult. Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if when people actually ask legitimate questions, I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not answering your questions. That's crazy. I mean, it's so funny. This guy came on here and was like, Jesus Christ is the way. He brought it up. As soon as you ask that person to elaborate, they shut down. It's just not how reality works. And going into the look at like, you can see why it is the way it is, because you guys have been tricked into believing this crazy narrative that paints basically the Israelis as the kingpin shits, and you look at the way the world works now. We're literally taking money away from our country, away from our roads, away from our sick, our homeless, our whatever, and giving it to them to commit genocide, to do whatever they want with. And that's literally like the foundation of the Bible, right? You're supposed to believe in something that isn't even about you. It's not about Christians and how you can this and this, that, and the other. It's literally a them fairy tale for them, about them, by them, that supposedly happened a long ass time ago. It's not talking about something that is going to happen. It talks about something that already happened a long fucking time ago. And like, you insist on believing in something that gives you no benefit. The only benefit you get is that when you die, then the real party starts, and okay, now you get to live the good life. Like, it's just so unthinkably stupid. And it's so bad that, again, you have an entire fake group of Israeli trolls in here trying to pretend like they're good, they're Christians, they're good God-fearing Christians, until they start being asked about it, of which they don't know too much. They might have one or two arguments, but once you get past that, they're not real Christians, so they don't actually know the shit. In reality, most Christians don't know the shit anyway. You try to disprove and turn me from my faith. Are you evil or just a piece of shit? Yeah. See what I mean? Keep you from being a slave. A slave to the friars must mean I'm evil or a piece of shit. Trying to get you to take credit for your own actions, believe in yourself and your brothers and sisters around you. Stop falling for the friar fairy tale, because it's an absolute fairy tale that you can't even talk about. You're so inept. You believe so much, and yet you know so little that when the conversation starts going in that direction, you cowardly start talking about something else with the other fake commenters. And not one of you can even begin to address any of the questions being asked, or any of the facts being presented. And yet, yep, I'm the evil one or a piece of shit, either way. He's delusional. I wish the best for him. He just cries. Yeah, he's a real hater. You see this shit? This is literally what you have to do, because you can't. You can't think for yourself. You haven't been encouraged to. And you're just fake. You're fake. Even if you just base it on just the interaction. As a Christian, you're not supposed to turn into a dickhead. You're supposed to have knowledge and be able to share knowledge. And instead, the turn the other cheek Christians always get angry, always get very, very judgy, right? Suddenly now we're super judgmental and we're saying all kinds of stupid shit because you're feeling your stupidity. You know, if this was some other situation, if this was, hey, tell me about your car, you wouldn't be like, what do you mean? I'll change the subject. You'd be like, oh yeah, I drive this and I have this and, you know, I like this and it's got this many miles and I bought it because of this reason and you know, da 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 da. Like you'd have a whole narrative behind it. You wouldn't think twice about it. You wouldn't be insulted because somebody was like, hey, why buy that car? And yet when it comes down to your core faith, your core beliefs, your arrogant bullshit that you say, well, I don't believe what the people who gave me the narrative have to say. I just pick and choose the parts I like about it. It's fucking goofy. It's goofy. I bet he never say anything to my face like this. Oh, see, there we go. There we go, the little tiny white guy Christian. Now he was going to fight. I would never say I don't believe in Jesus, and you don't clearly either, that you don't have any, you can't make a reasonable argument. I would never say that to your face. You're talking shit about me saying I don't know stuff. Well, prove me wrong. Pretty simple. You're the one proving the point here. I couldn't write it out better. I'm literally saying, and then the Christian's going to do this, and then you do it. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you. Haters are my motivators. Oh, I thought Jesus was your motivator. Oh my God. So stupid that they have put the gas down. They're sober. And they get mad at the person that says, man, you did a good job. Jesus had nothing to do with it. You did it. Think about how brainwashed and fucking foolish you have to be that guy. No, I didn't do it. Sky Daddy did it. And a whole host of chemicals. Look at this shit. Look at the crybaby comments. Typical fucking Christians. Why are people that identify as Christians so consistently stupid? It's shocking. You know, these are people who can like drive cars and they can get groceries and, you know, they vote. You know, you're interacting with these everyday people all over the place. They can do complicated tasks, you know. And you ask them simple questions and they just fall the fuck apart and start acting like psychopaths. How is that possible? Jesus Christ. Look at this shit. Look at the crybaby shit, man. It's insane. Yep. I insulted you. Oh, I insulted you. Yeah. I insulted you by pointing out how stupid you are. If I was wrong, why would you be insulted? Yeah. If you're walking down the street and somebody comes up to you and says, you're 50 feet tall and you weigh 85,000 pounds and you have treads for wheels and eight octopus arms and you have, electricity for hair. Are you going to be like, oh my God, I'm so insulted by that. Oh my God, why are you insulting me? No. So why do you do that here? You don't believe in the same God even though I don't have any reasons for it. And you keep trying to have an adult conversation with me, and I don't like that. I don't like having adult conversations with people. I'm scared. I am scared. Why are they all the same? Oh, now I'm rage baiting. Again, somebody is. It's not my fault. It's not, he rage baited me. No, he said something I didn't like, so I flew into a rage. I couldn't even control. I was rage baited. Every single thing you say proves the point even more. Seriously. All of this is instead of being able to answer simple questions about his own beliefs. All these negative. I'm rage baiting and I'm doing this and apparently like if I had a smaller forehead, then they like their dudes with smaller foreheads apparently. Like if I had a small forehead, then they'd be like, "Ooh, baby, now I can have a conversation with you." Now I like. Do you like my skin color too, or is that not good enough? Do you like my eyes? How do you like your dude's eyes to look? Do you want your dudes to be clean shaven as well? Do you like your dudes to have beards or not? Everybody concerned with my looks over the substance of what I'm saying. Please, by all means, tell me how I could look, and then you'd have something to say. If I look like Nick Fuentes, oh baby, does he do it for you? You say you don't know who Ian Carroll is, so can't say he does it for you. Does Alex, are you like the bigger guys like that? Are you like a bear hunter guy? Which ones do you like instead? Rage baiters. Rage baiters. Oh, there we go. Take your meds. Now we have a take your meds comment because that's not an Israeli, right? That's not an Israeli. You need to take the meds that make you believe in the Sky Daddy. Sounds like what you would believe in if you were on drugs. Dude, there's this guy, like, up in the sky, and, like, he, like, controls things, and, like, everything, like, he does everything, except, like, the bad stuff, bro, because the bad stuff, there's, like, another guy who got kicked out of hanging out with the guy up in the sky. He got kicked out and he got sent down here. And he like made a home like deep down where it's warm and shit. And he's like responsible for all the bad stuff, bro. It's so gnarly, bro. I mean, look at this dumb shit. I love you, but not like anyone loves a brother in Christ. I would accept you if you didn't. Jesus Christ. So stupid. I mean, it's just so stupid how insane these guys are. And they're on loops, right? They say this, that, and the other, then they say this, then it comes back to this, then they say that, and then they just keep going. And they just keep repeating the same like stupid crybaby nonsense. These are all people claiming to be good, God-fearing Christians. They're the good Christians. I'm the evil one. I'm the bad guy who doesn't believe in it. If being a Christian made me act like this, if being a Christian meant people could ask me questions and I'd be so embarrassed by my own ignorance in the subject that I would get mad and attack people for asking me. Like, that's not something I ever want to sign up to. I don't want to believe in something that I have to have faith in to override the fact that, you know, sure is a lot of pedophilia in this shit. Oh well, God has a plan for everything. Like, it's just wild. I'm name calling you now. Look at how stupid these guys are. Like, and you can see that everything I'm saying is bothering them more and more because they're trying harder and harder to hurt me back. They're trying harder and harder to insult me. And, you know, it's just so silly to me that this is how this works. And as much as I would like the intelligent discourse, you know, I would love to be able to have that debate, that conversation back and forth. This is almost as good because these guys are not only here to disrupt, but they're here claiming to be Christian. They're the ones following the rules. They're the ones with the centuries of history behind what they believe and all this other bullshit, right? If this is the best they can come up with when asked simple questions, when up against somebody who doesn't believe what they believe, that really does say a lot about their belief structure. I mean, shit, pause the video real quick. You know, get on your altar and get your God phone going and ask God to inspire you to be able to answer questions a little bit better. See if Jesus will smack you with some answers instead of some more stupidity. But see, when you point out the fact that they're these arrogant pricks who say, no, Jesus cares about me doing drugs, but not about children being starved, raped, bombs dropped on them, you know. Jesus doesn't care about that stuff. He cares about my sobriety. Like, it's a level of arrogance I can't even imagine wanting to have. You know, he wants to be this arrogant. There's no one making him be this arrogant. And there's no overwhelming, you know, presentation with evidence that's like you might not want to believe it, but it's there. How can you not? Look at how true it is. What? Nathan, stop it. I mean, it's always so interesting how this works. Typical Christians, man, they're this is who all of these truthers try to appeal to. This is that lowest common denominator. You know, as long as they say their bit and then they say, oh, and Jesus, and you're like, yeah, he said Jesus. You're the type of moron that claps when the artist says the city that you're from. Hello, New York. Yeah, he said New York. And look at this shit. This guy's talking all this shit while he's going to get his methadone. He's saying he's sober because he's got a prescription for Xanax, he's on a ketamine plan, and he's on methadone. Super sober. No, off the gas, that's a good thing. Still, that's not sober. I can't believe. I mean, I can, but I mean, it's the type of shit that I I kind of laugh at all of the people that did believe in him, right? All of his supporters. It's like what happens with Trump all the time. And you go, how do you still believe this dude? You know, how many times can this dude lie to you or let you down and you know, say things that you shouldn't go with? You know, you shouldn't, you know. But Nick Fuentes is given the mic, is on a nationally televised TV show, and asked whether he thought Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk. And he says, no, I think it's Tyler Robinson did it. Are you? What just happened? Right? Like that's the type of shit that Guy Williams tells you is gonna happen, and you just, no way, there's no way, you're such a hater, blah blah blah, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, just wait, watch. The illusion will implode. And lo and behold, it absolutely has. How essentially, not, I mean, technically on paper, Nick Fuentes is way better than me. He has a whole team behind him. He has a proper setup. You know, he's fed information that I have to find for myself. But he's very good at recalling and regurgitating information. And he can give you names, and he can give you dates, and he can give you, you know, places and shit that I don't even waste my time with. So to even bring him into that situation is sketchy to begin with. It's like, well, that's a lot of balls. You know, that news station is definitely like risking a lot, at least theoretically. And it would seriously be like if I was given that same question and I said the same thing. No, I don't think Israel had anything to do with it. Yeah, it's the patsy that there's no proof of. Literally no proof of. And the story has they keep trying to make the story go away.
I know, but
But I just, you know, at no point have you ever heard me champion Nick Fuentes. I actually never liked the guy because, you know, when he's telling the truth about this one particular thing, but then encapsulating it with a whole bunch of bullshit, it completely discredits the truth because people will, you know, think, well, if he's saying bullshit about this, this, and this, he must be saying bullshit about that too.
you're not gonna eat my nails.
And so it's a way for them to you know, provide us with a talking head, a you know, controlled opposition, where we can say, you know, how come there's, you know, if there wasn't a Nick Fuentes, we'd be saying, how come there isn't a Nick Fuentes? And somebody, you know, would organically rise that wasn't so manufactured to be encapsulated in such bullshit. You know, his hatred for gays, the way he views women, the you know, the way he views people of color. He's an absolute piece of shit. And see, even the dumbass commenter can't help but prove my point. I thought God would like that guy. Exactly. Right? I'm supposed to. That's why they give him to us. We're supposed to like Nick Fuentes. He says all the things. Or he says most of the things. You're supposed to fall for Nick Fuentes. That's why he has such a large reach. You're supposed to fall for Ian Carroll. That's why Ian Carroll has such a large reach. Stu Peters, Dan Blazarian, all these guys, the twins, the Hodge twins, or whatever their name is. There's a reason why all these guys are elevated to the position they are, while supposedly saying the thing we're supposed to say. And to have Nick do exactly what. Do I think Israel had anything to do with it? I'd have to correct you and say the first doesn't exist. Israel is just some made-up line bullshit. It's a construct, a boogeyman for us to blame. But if we're going to go with it, not only did Israel kill him, they created him from the beginning. I love the line. If you look at his donor list, it looks like a bar mitzvah sign-in sheet. But, they created him. They gave us Charlie Kirk. We wouldn't know who he was if not for... Come on, dude. If not for them. If they didn't want us to know who Charlie Kirk was. Okay, so you guys aren't playing games, right? Why?
He's been checking his game for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so you should be done. You guys need to eat and get out there. You got work to do. There are people waiting on you.
I'm waiting.
So you know what? You can even eat when you get home. Okay, then get up and eat. Come on.
I'm waiting for Nick. Come on.
You don't need to wait for Nick. How about bananas and peanut butter? Sound good?
No.
Not for you, Nate. What?
Just say yes, I do want that, yes.
What do you guys want? Hurry up.
Some
Fruit. Huh? Bastards. So that just checking should be over here real soon, right? Did you want toast too? No. No what? What'd you say? Huh? You said no what? Oh, yeah, no problem. What fruit am I allowed to use?
What?
They want breakfast.
The avocados, the tomatoes, the banana, the apple, and the one orange.
Well, they're not getting all that. That's for damn sure. Just checking. I got in trouble last time. apparently I used the wrong fruit and didn't ask first. So now I'm asking first. Yeah.
We have breakfast stuff and we have lunch stuff. This is breakfast stuff.
Wasn't all, hey, thanks for taking care of that.
Hold on, Broly.
It was you down there. Like you doing that shit. Where she cursed at me. Called me a nigger.
Come.
Kicked me in the dingus.
Good boy.
Poked me with her finger.
Good boy.
Here, you could finish this while I'm doing this. That would be really great. I'll take care of it. Let's see.
That was close.
That is literally what she said. The hell? I don't think I'm carrots that much anymore. Guess what? They're good for you. You're good. Alright. Well, I know I've been alive longer than I have, that's for sure. But apparently the clock got reset. Alright. So sorry, guys. Wish I had a whole team to provide me with really well done edited videos, but it doesn't. My wife bought this electric garbage can. It has a little sensor in front. I hate it. The problem is, now whenever I go somewhere, I like stand in front of the trash can waiting for the shit to open. It's pretty stupid. I hate it. It's such a lazy thing. Greetings from Texas. Greetings from Tejas. What's going on in Texas? You know, I always thought, like, at least I seem to remember within the last decade or so, Texas being like the, you know, the one state you thought might actually do something about the situation we're in. But then again, I guess, you know, we got the racist, you know, the racist douchebag president. So that's probably what most Texans wanted was racist asshole Donald Trump. So let's see, same everywhere else. Yeah, remember when they were talking about how Texas was like on the verge of seceding again? And, you know, and the history of Texas is weird because, like, It's the one place that the North couldn't get to. And so, you know, where like, at least, see, this is at least according to the narrative. I don't believe in it. I just don't believe in the Civil War and shit anymore. It's such a dumb narrative, especially when you think like, you know, at the same time as huge skyscrapers and communicating all over the world somehow, and yet these mountain folks are fighting for rich friars to continue to own slaves. Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? You know, I just think, like, I know the Texas governor is phenomenal. I know that. No, you don't. You know you're presented with something, and, you know, maybe the image you're presented is a very carefully crafted one to make this guy look phenomenal, but he is a governor. He wasn't allowed to be governor because he broke the rules. He's allowed to be governor because he was willing to turn a blind eye to whatever they told him to turn a blind eye to. So simple. And it's so crazy to me how people often seemingly just, like, override that, forget that shit. Like, they, you know, because you like the guy, because he's presented to you in a way that's, for whatever reason, makes you like him, you override such obvious contradictions and bullshit. You can't possibly think I'm doing a palm grenade. Talking to mom grenade. I mean, red state, blue state, all that bullshit. Like, that's what I'm talking about. When do people override that nonsense programming? It just seems so... It's not like it's done well. You know, it's not like the narrative being presented is one that makes you go, yeah, this is believable. Like, I totally subscribe to the narrative that they provide me. All right, butt breath, let's go.
You butt breath. Oh my god, what a terrible breakfast.
Yeah, I know. It's
I want bread, boy.
It's coming, sir. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate being like this. It sucks. Seriosity, you guys. You have like 10 minutes. You gotta get this shit done. They're waiting on you. There will be no flirting around. Smash. Smash like you've never smashed before. Smash like you're 18 and on spring break. Woo! Spring break! Just know that you'll probably never see these again. So yeah, gotta get them outside so I can make some money, because you know, I make them shovel and then I take their money. Yeah, you guys got my money to make, you know, because you know I'm gonna take it, right? Hell yeah, they're cute little faces. People give in, they're like, oh, cute kids. They have no idea the operation I got going here. Recruited a few of the younger neighbor kids. I don't let them wear a jacket so they can be like, yeah, we're just trying to get some money to get them a jacket. People are like, oh my God. A lot of times they're like, you don't even have to shovel, just... And they're like, no, ma'am, I insist. And when they do that, they even go deeper. Talking like 50, 60 bucks a whop. Seriously, get going. The competition is out there. Get it going. Oh, look, we have a Cohen here. Another piece of shit friar who supports pedophilia. So you know what I wanted to look up today, too? I had to do this. I knew this earlier. I wanted to look up the doomsday clock. So let's see what it says. The doomsday clock is a symbol that represents the estimated likelihood of a human-made global catastrophe, in the opinion of the non-profit organization Bulletin of the Atomic Sciences. What do you think the chances are that if I look up this non-profit, that its entire existence revolves around friar bullshit? What do you think? What do you think the chances are? Let's see. Is a nonprofit organization concerning science and global security issues resulting from accelerating technological advances that have negative consequences for humanity. The Bulletin publishes content at both a free access website and a bi-monthly non-technical academic journal. The organization has been publishing continuously since 1945, when it was founded by... Come on, guess who founded this? Chubby girl, guess who founded this science magazine back in 1945?
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas? She got it. How the fuck did you get that? Pocahontas and Albert Einstein and former Manhattan Project scientists, multiple Manhattan Project scientists. As the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists of Chicago, immediately following the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The organization is also the keeper of the symbolic doomsday clock, the time of which was announced each January, each January. So they created this perpetual, like literally perpetual, doomsday clock that is always, you know, we're at like 2 minutes from midnight. Midnight being the eventual give me those. The eventual collapse. I can see it from here. What the fuck? Hate this shit. So let's see what the history is. The Bulletin was founded in late 1945 by scientific men who helped make the A-bomb. the founder and first editor of the Bulletin of Atomic Sciences, was biophysicist Eugene Rabinowitz. What do you think Eugene Rabinowitz's background is? No, just guess. Just guess. I want to see. I want to know what your best guess is. Okay, let's see. April 27th, 1901 to May 15, 1973, was a Russian-born American biophysicist who is known for his work in photosynthesis and nuclear energy. Those things go together. He was a co-author of the Frank Report and co-founder of the 1945 Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, a global security and public policy magazine, which he edited until his death. Huh. So it's this guy. What do you think now? What do you guys think? What do you think? His eyes are kind of squinted. I think he might be Chinese.
I was gonna say Tahitian. He looks like he's from Tahiti.
See, now you gotta be stupid. Why do you always gotta be stupid about things? Of course he's not from Tahiti. He's not dark-skinned. No, I think he's Chinese. I think that makes more sense. Early life. Rabinowitz was born Evgeny Isaacovich Rabinovich. Rabinovich. And they changed it to Rabinowitz.
That's a Czech? That's Russian?
Rabinovich. So, like we always like to sort of ask people, how many of you have another name?
Is that Stinky?
How many of you have another name that you were known by?
I do.
Let's go!
I do.
Come on, fellers!
I have 2 other names I was known by.
Well, you're a whore.
Jerry's so fat, look how big his pants have to be. Watch where they show
They won't
his
show it
legs.
again.
They'll have to.
They won't show it.
The full body. Oh, come on, show it. He's so fat that the legs of his pants are the size of my waist. They'd have to taper him so much. Wow, that looked stupid.
Come on, show me the fat guy's legs.
It's unreal.
Oh no, that's James.
Ew, she's ugly. Look at his pants. They look so silly.
You're so silly. Rabinovich was born, I'm not saying it again, in St. Petersburg on April 27th, OS, April 14th. So, depending on which calendar you use. He was either born on April 27th or April 14th, 1901. His parents, Zenidia Moisevina and Isaac Moisevich Rabinovich. Were a lawyer and a pianist during World War II.
No, he just came in. No.
Yeah, he just came in. No. He wants attention, dude. He misses Mo.
Sit on the.
But you guys got to eat and get going, so Mom will have to hang out with him.
Mo is
initially
on his way home.
During World War I, he studied chemistry at St. Petersburg. Initially a supporter of the Russian Revolution, he and his family fled to Kiev and then Warsaw with the onset of the Red Terror in late 1918. Isn't it weird how when it comes to this particular subject, like the bombs and stuff like that, they always hide their friar heritage? Like in any other biography, them being friars is the number one thing said. But whenever it has to do with bombs and shit, they really do hide it. Ultimately fleeing to Germany. Boy, that was a mistake, huh? They fled to Germany in 1918. Boy, was that a bad choice. Was able to take a course Einstein taught on relativity and attend academic events that included Max Planck and Max von Loewy. Now, think about this. Think about nowadays, a family fleeing war-torn this, war-torn that, oppressive this, oppressive that, repeatedly, and then being like, oh yeah, no, then I just got here and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take Einstein's course. Like, it's so fucking goofy. In 1925, he got a PhD in chemistry at the University of Berlin. He got a PhD, so he fled to Kiev and then Warsaw with the onset of the Red Terror in late 1918. Ultimately fleeing to Germany, he was able to take a course Einstein taught on relativity and attended academic events that included two different Maxes, Max Planck and Max von Loewy. So, not sure when that is. That has to be within the 20s at some point. And by 1925, he had a PhD in chemistry. That's amazing. You know, during the war, he studied chemistry in St. Petersburg. During the war, weren't they like dealing with, war? Isn't that kind of weird? He later worked with James Franck at Grottingen, where he discovered cage effect, sometimes called the Frank-Rabinowitz effect. Cage effect describes how the properties of a molecule are affected by its surroundings. Yeah, of course they did. This is in the 30s, of course. You know, all that amazing science that we were able to do in the 30s and shit. After the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Rabinowitz's stipend in Göttingen was canceled. He was invited to work for a year with Niels Bohr in Denmark in Bohr's Institute of Physics before finding a job in London. Man, it almost sounds like the Nazis let him go. Doesn't say anything about any sort of persecution. Just that the Nazis came to power, so he had to get a new job. 1932, he married Russian actress Anya Rabinowitz. And in 1934, the couple had twins, Victor and Alexander. And of course, he's the nuclear energy guy. And it's funny that you won't find any mention of Galen Windsor in any of this, I'm sure. You mean Galen Windsor? Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what the fuck I said. Nope. That dude's been obliterated from history. Crazy. It's crazy that they've done that to that man. Alright, so this was the... So it said that it was the first editor was this Eugene Rabinowitz guy from 1901 to 1973. I guess that's his life. He founded the magazine with physicist Hyman Goldsmith. So Eugene Rabinowitz, he changed it to Rabinowitz. Good way of hiding it, right? Are you Eugene Rabinowitz? No, I'm Eugene Rabinowitz. You've got me mistaken. And Hyman Goldsmith, whose name is in red, so we don't get to look him up. It's saying He should have a page, but he just doesn't. Rabinowitz was a professor of botany and biophysics at the University of Illinois in the 30s, and was also a founding member of the continuing committee for the Pugwash Conferences on Science and World Affairs. In addition to Rabinowitz and Goldsmith, contributors have included Morton Grodins, Hans Bethe, Anatoly Blegagarov, Max Born, Harrison Brown, Stuart Chase, Brock Chisholm, E.U. Condon, Albert Einstein, E.K. Fedorov. Oh my god, this list is so long. Fuck it. In 1949, the Education Foundation for Nuclear Science incorporated a not-for-profit 501c organization to serve as the parent organization and funding mechanism of the bulletin. In 2003, the board of directors voted to change the the foundation's name to Bulletin of the Atomic Science. Doomsday Clock. Once the Soviet Union developed atomic weapons, the concern surrounding the world's destruction was a great fear for the scientists working in the bulletin. And just think, like, when this shit was first introduced, they weren't talking about how in 2025 we would still be saying, oh, we're right there on the verge of it. They were like, man, we are years away from this shit. We are years away. It's minutes left. It's such a stupid propaganda piece. The proximity of nuclear devastation was a popular interest, and as a result, Bulletin co-editor Hyman Goldsmith asked landscape artist Martel Langsdorff to create a cover for the June 1947 magazine. Langsdorff, who was married to Manhattan Project physicist Alexander Langsdorff, first considered using the symbol for uranium, but then realized that a clock would better convey a sense of urgency. The resultant doomsday clock, which only has bullets labeling the numbers in the upper left-hand corner, has been featured on the cover of the bulletin many times since its creation. Proximity to midnight has been the bulletin leadership's way of warning the public about man-made threats to humanity. The clock is a metaphor, not a prediction. I gotta go. Goodbye.